We have Kevin Flynn, Greg Landsman. I'm sorry, yes. You can applaud. I'm so sorry. Kevin Flynn, Greg Landsman, Kevin Johnson. And standing in for former mayor, former councilman, House of Representative, David Mann. Tonight is his 50th wedding anniversary. So don't feel shortchanged. 50 years, that's a lot of, you gotta maintain that. So he's off somewhere working. Standing in for him is Mr. Mann's campaign manager, John Juech.
Yeah.
Like Buick.
Well done.
Okay. All right, now, 2 minutes for this ridiculous opening statement. All right, and it's the same question all the other candidates have been asked. I'm gonna ask, I will say it, I will repeat it for you if you need me to, not a big deal. Here it is. For your opening statement, please tell us what are, or perhaps should be, true indicators of progress for the city of Cincinnati. What are the most critical objective measures for Cincinnati moving in a positive direction? And please outline specific strategies for creating, managing, and sustaining such a vision for the future. Did you get that? Okay. Mr. Flynn, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you.
And here are your timekeepers, these gentlemen right down front.
I think I've seen them before. I am Kevin Flynn, and I did my homework, so I know what the question was. But I want to start out by reading the mission statement from the City of Cincinnati Council's website. The mission of the Cincinnati City Council is to provide, in a democratic and transparent manner, efficient and effective services, which will make Cincinnati a better place in which to live, work, and play. That should be our guidance in every action that we take on council. What are the 3 measures? The budget. We haven't had a budget that's been under control in a dozen years. If we don't get our budget under control, we will never be able to progress as a city. Transparency. Improper use of the emergency clause. I looked at the last session, one of the few sessions that City Council has held since June. They've had 19 weeks through the election. They'll have 4 meetings. And in those 4 meetings, in the last meeting, 3/4 of the ordinances passed were passed as emergencies. That's crazy. We have to regain our power over the agenda as a council. We are the legislative body for the city. And if we can't even determine for ourselves what is going to go on the in front of council, because we've given that power away through the council rules, we're never going to win. And finally, citizen engagement. We have to do a better job of engaging between ourselves as council members, but also engaging and listening to all of the citizens. I'm Kevin Flynn. Thank you.
Okay, same question, Mr. Landsman.
Thank you. I'm Greg Landsman. Thank you all for being here. This is an important election, and the fact that you all are here on a Saturday night means a lot to us. It means a lot to the city, and so I think you all deserve a round of applause. So thank you all for being here and being part of this. The same with our hosts, from City Beat to Channel 9, the League of Women Voters. Again, this is a critical election, and we've got meaningful engagement, and that's a good thing. And the Greenwich, obviously, Mark, for hosting us. Thank you. The measurements of progress moving forward have to be, one, around growth. We creating more jobs? We increasing revenue to the city? And are we growing the city in terms of people? Are we attracting and retaining more and more people? Those are the big milestones for a successful, vibrant, growing city. Number 2, as Kevin mentioned, you have to have a structurally balanced budget. We haven't had one in 14 years, and it will be very difficult for us to invest in the things that matter most and to attract private investment if we continue to pass budgets that are not structurally balanced, and that means very tough decisions, but also very serious leadership. I am committed to making sure that we have structurally balanced budget moving forward. Number 3, you got to have crime down and education up, right? So we have to have safer streets. This means more police on the street. You got to have more opportunities for folks. And I think Cincinnati City Council plays a big role in that. And I believe we have to have great schools in every single neighborhood and universal preschool for every 3- and 4-year-old. I believe that will be the difference maker in terms of breaking the cycle of poverty, number 1. Number 2, increasing the work that we do to retain and attract young families. We've struggled with that. We haven't grown in 50 years. We've got to reverse that trend. I think we can do that. Part of that will be universal preschool. And then transparency. There has to be a much higher level of transparency at City Hall where people say, yep, this is my government and it works. Thank you.
Very good. Mr. Johnson.
Humphrey Bogart famously said to Ingrid Bergman, of all the places and all the towns in the world, you had to walk into mine. So I thank you all for being here this evening. I'm Kevin Johnson. I need to say, if you want to follow me social media, I need to say this. My campaign manager tells me this all the time. Johnson, number 4, Cincy, Johnson for Cincy. Website is kevinjohnsonforcincinnati.com. The role of government is to do what the private sector can't. And that is provide a safety net to allow for that private sector to grow. The political process is defined as the authoritative allocation of values on a society. And so when I look around this city, I look around this community in which I grew up in and I currently live, I say, where is the safety net? And I say, where is the fair and equitability as it pertains to the resources? So when we talk about the question specifically on what the city is doing, this city is growing, it is poised for growth, but it's poised for growth in brick and mortar. And we have to make sure along the way, while brick and mortar is being created and developed in this city of Cincinnati, that we invest in the people. And we may have to make sure that the capital invested into the people and the citizens of Cincinnati match and equal that. And so what is a city that is growing where the people, you take Avondale along, the neighborhood in which I grew up in, the neighborhood in which my campaign office is held, where you have 40% unemployment. But it's a part of the uptown community where it's the 2nd largest job employer in the city of Cincinnati. And so what are we doing strategically as a city to connect people in the communities to the jobs? And so our focus has to be transportation, access to more capital, and absolutely creating a fair and equitable process moving forward that will allow for the expansion of minority and women businesses as we grow this city moving forward. Thank you.
Very good. Do it, John.
So I am clearly not David Mann. I think one look at the hair and you know that. Actually, today is David and his wife Betsy's 50th year wedding anniversary to the day. The amazing thing, he hasn't missed a candidates forum yet in this campaign, and he actually wanted to come to this tonight, and his kids who are throwing them a party were like, there is no way, John, you got to go in his place, and he was feeling bad about it, but then Betsy said, if you want to be married another 50 years, you're going to be at the party. So I'm honored to be here in his place. I'm his campaign manager. I've been with him on this campaign. What we've seen on this campaign is a tale of two cities. There is a Cincinnati that's incredibly vibrant, exciting, downtown, the banks, over the Rhine. People want to be here. You bring other people to this city. They say, I didn't realize so much good stuff was going on here. I just had a baby daughter, and it is a place where you want to raise your family, and that's wonderful, and we need to build on that. But as you're out on the campaign trail, you see another Cincinnati, which is not that growing, vibrant place. You see too many neighborhoods being left behind. Avondale, South Fairmont, East Walnut Hills, Bond Hill, places on the west side where people don't feel safe in their homes. They don't feel like they can go out for walks in the evening. There's too much gun violence. There's open-air drug markets. There are not opportunities. There's too much poverty among children. And what David always says is we will have lost our soul as a city if we don't address that in addition to all the good things. City Council can do that in a few concrete ways, addressing the budget and the pensions to create confidence in the future and business, and which it has not done. Also restoring a balance between downtown and the neighborhoods, and then doing things starting very early to address the scourge of poverty and violence neonatal and early learning, the stuff Greg is working on, and
that's your
gun
time.
violence
That's
and all of that, and that'll get us past the two cities.
Okay.
You're a true politician, John.